an apocalyptic medieval world. A lot of water's been drained. Islands, land masses. There's only one kingdom. Pieces of the ground were ripped up by the two necromancers. Like God, they were banished because their powers were taken away. Because they came from the Hydra potion. There used to be 3 Hydras until they were all banished. Also, there used to be Manticores, Medusa, and a Cerberus. But ever since... After... Because they stole everything from them. A lot of things. All of them were locked up in a priest's castle, and they were turned into myth. And people started saying these items were fake. They were wrong, though. All of these items are real, from legends, hundreds of thousands. This kingdom has been around for 600 years, so it's old. It's young. It's on the younger side of kingdoms. Why isn't this charging? Get charging. There you go. All of this made. All of these are artifacts. The Great Beast Wars, it was called. All of them were locked up in the church and called mythology because it was 400 years ago. They transform. The villager knights saw something wrong with them. They broke down the wall. He was able to break in. They broke the wall, the werewolves did. It's time, because this was the second to fight these beasts. As a black nest, as they were called Nessies. Because these items were locked away deep within caves. Well, not deep within the cave, but in the church, and nobody was allowed to touch them. If you touched them, you'd be killed. The kingdom of Aledia. And they made a cross. They say that only a god could own these weapons. They say their god died 400 years ago, which means, that also means many skeptics who believe these items are fake, and they're not allowed to be touched because it'd be revealed they're fake. So they're like, yeah, how did God create them if he's dead? It means they believe in God. And they're going from top to bottom in order that they were collected. These items are used. These items, because there's only one of each of them, the entire universe. Only one of each of them. One of each, which makes them very rare. One of each. See, because this would be the beginning. Well, there's 2 Hydra potions, but each of them have because there's 2 different versions of Hydra blood. One that's super super poisonous, and ones that's basically basically one that is acid. Bow, 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 bow. So 4 more items. There are 2 items. No, all the heads are not allowed to be up on the pedestal. Those heads it is simply too powerful to be held up. The heads are held up on the bottom because they are considered alpha items. They are considered godly. The Hydra technically has its head, but goblin masks. Wait, can you put them on a wall? Nope, you cannot, because since they're on the bottom, you wanna know why they're on the bottom? They're given the regular item fragments. Because these are the ones that are worshipped. These 4 are the ones that are worshipped. But there's one on the bottom that almost... So they have 4 goblin masks. Goblins are extinct. There's many items. And there's only one of each. Now rare. They're special items, and there's non-special. The special items that there's only one of each. So all the items are up here on pedestals. This is only beginning. This is also in order of when they were found. Goblins were firstly discovered. And it's been millions of years. Because there's 3 heads of Cerberuses. 3 Cerberus heads, actually. 2 are weak heads, and 1 is an alpha head, as they're nicknamed. Many of the items were actually found at the same time. Yeah, many of them were. Many parts of this world are ruined. Because the Great Takeover, people said, would happen. Many people said, the Great Takeover will happen. These goblins are very endangered. Charge! Here we go. Charging, finally. Until there was a great civil war. Because goblins and humans have been living in harmony for over 60 years. No, for just 60 years.
I await your command. Absolutely. I await your command. Your honor.
And until a civil war would happen, would become the end of the war.
Command me.
A civil war happened, and some people went back to their prehistoric ways. And when the Goblin Civil War happened, the goblins ruled these lands. When the Civil War happened, there was more of these prehistoric ones because many of them wanted to go back to their old lives. This was called Goblin territory, basically. The villagers weren't involved with this. Only the knights were. No knight had died, ever. No knight had died.
Your honor, I await your command. Sire, I await your command.
Many of them were also turned to zombies because of a disease. So then when the Civil War happened, I mean, not many goblins live over here. This was called the country. This was a countryside. This is where not many cities lived, not many people did. Oh. Don't wait for it to load. Load yet? Whoop. More villagers lived over here. It was easier. Like during the Civil War, the cannibal goblins they can take over a place with less villagers, and that there was less knights.
Sire?
There's less goblins. It seems to be like, Oh, alright. This populated city. Minotaur. Two goblins lived here, and they would die.
Command me.
They had one child, who would be the last country goblin,
Command me.
who was locked in his house. He just became an adult. And this was called the Great War.
Command me.
During this war, many werewolves helped these goblins.
Your Honor.
Two more. This was all they had. This was all their soldiers left. All they had left. And then they sent the other two here to keep away other people. They followed the Minotaur because he was their big daddy boss. As they thought the war was over, no. It had just began. This was where the big bustling city happened. There was blood on both sides. Except for the knights on this side. Villagers were being wiped out from this side.
Your Honor.
The knights were the only ones who actually had a chance to defend themselves.
Command me. Command me.
Because the war had finally truly started to end after generations. It's been 26 years. But it finally ended as the writers write out for the God War.